Yes, good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about the topic educational assessment and educational evaluation. In the last class, we have discussed in detail about the assessment and evaluation. Now we are discussing the terms educational assessment and educational evaluation. There is a slight difference between the educational assessment and educational evaluation. You know already what is evaluation. Evaluation is a process of making the final judgments or conclusions based on the several assessments. So we have discussed, and then what is educational evaluation and what is educational assessment we will discuss. So if we look at this, the word assessment, you already know the assessment is a tool to improve the quality of the teaching learning activities or the perform to improve the performance of the learner. So what is the educational assessment and educational evaluation? There is a slight difference we have discussed already. Evaluation is a broader one and assessment is a part in evaluation. So assessment is a part of evaluation. Example, if you take a case, what is assessment and what is evaluation, we will discuss. So if a learner is good at English and excellent in mathematics, then how can we uh, conclude the performance of the learner? So the learner is good in English and mathematics is excellent in mathematics. So we cannot combine the performance of the students by to make a conclusion or give any judgment based on the two individual performances. So we should can combine by using some other type of evaluation, that is comprehensive evaluation, comprehensive assessment we can say. So what is comprehensive assessment and what is comprehensive evaluation means? We cannot grade the students. We can grade the students, but we cannot combine the grades of the students or learners from individual from different subjects. How can we define or conclude the performance of the students whose performance is good in English and excellent in mathematics? For that, we have to evaluate the performance of the students in the both subjects using the assessment. So again, how we can define? So suppose if you take the subject English of the learner, performance of the learner, we have to check whether the learner is good at reading ability, vocabulary, writing spellings, and command over the grammar, and speaking abilities, and so on. So then we can grade for each ability here. So we have to see the reading skills, spellings, vocabulary, communication skills, grammar skills, and spoken skills abilities. Then we should assign a grade for each specific abilities of the learner in the English. Then after we should go for the other subject, that is mathematics. uh, there also we have to see the writing abilities, application abilities, understanding abilities, uh, and computation skills, etc. Then we can grade the abilities of the uh, child in mathematics. Then we can assign the grades for each abilities in mathematics also. Then we can combine all the performance of the students and we can evaluate for the learner performance in English and as well as in mathematics. So how to combine this, the performance of the students ability in different cases in different subjects, that gives a procedure, that is comprehensive assessment and comprehensive evaluation. So as that is called how to perform with the students. So different learners automatically learns automatically. So for that, how to evaluate or how to conduct comprehensive assessment, what is the procedure can be followed uh, in comprehensive assessment? Just have a look at that one. First, you identify the various aspects of the performance in given area, that is task specific in learning indicators. So I discussed already about the what are the areas or aspects, that means reading ability, spelling, vocabulary, all these things we have to see, that is various aspects of the performance. Assess the each aspect to our task continuously and assign grade for each of them. So we have discussed. So comprehensive assessment or comprehensive evaluation, both are similar, but one is for development or improvement of the proficiency assessment. The evaluation is to know the status of the student. So the comprehensive assessment follows the procedure. The procedure is one, what the teacher has to identify the various aspects of the performance in a given area, that is a task specific to the learner indicators. Then after assess each task or aspect continuously, means regularly, and assign a grade for each of them. This is called comprehensive assessment. So these two should be kept in mind when we are following the comprehensive assessment. So it's not so easy to go for comprehensive assessment to a teacher. For that, you should have the great evaluating skills and great assessment skills to grade the students individually, ability wise, task wise. So a good teacher can only go for the process comprehensive assessment. Then only the procedure followed in comprehensive assessment will be fruitful and effective for the betterment of the student performance. This is what the comprehensive assessment. So the educational assessment in both the subjects can be assessed, and education evaluation can be assessed using the comprehensive assessment or and educational comprehensive evaluation. Then what is performance based assessment? So many researchers are saying that we cannot judge the performance of the student in different cases differently. We cannot judge or assess the performance of the different learners in different conditions. So research studies suggest that different learners learn differently. Different learners learn differently. That means if a teacher teaches in a single way, some students may be got understood and some students may not get understood. Some students may understand quickly and some students may not understand quickly. So different learners, even though the same teacher is teaching the same concept in the same classroom to the same children, some students, that means, learn differently in different minds. So different learners learn differently, the researchers are saying. So how to modify the teaching procedure, that means assessment, then how to assess. So if we conduct some paper pencil test, that means what we are using to examine the students nowadays in the classroom or examination hall should be avoided. For that, assessment should be done beyond the paper pencil test. Beyond the paper pencil is nothing but what we are doing for, or what we are following. Paper pencil test is nothing but examination, regular traditional examinations what the students are we are writing in the examination hall. So that assessment should be beyond the regular examination system. Then automatically the students should be assessed individually sometimes and groups in sometimes. Why? Because in individually, if we are testing the student individually, sometimes he may perform without the help of the students individually. Sometimes he may sought the help of the students, his peers. So the student or the learner should not be tested sometimes only in individually and in group wise. The learner should be tested sometimes based on the condition. It should be tested individually. If it is compulsory, that should be tested in group. So when we are assessing, we should follow the two things. One is assessment should be done individually as well as in group. Then the different learners can perform exhibit their performance differently what the student has in it, in his or in him. So a measure should be done in the evaluation procedure or assessment procedure, then only the original performance of the child can be exhibited. So what is a major shift should be uh, required. See, we know that child-centered examinations are there and learner-centered examinations are there. So the major shift required in assessment process as follows. So from teacher center it is left side to what is the teacher shift is required from teacher center, and that is in the left side, and what is the shift required to learner center is in the right side. So if you take the first one, learner as a passive recipient in teacher center, that should be shifted. There should be a shift that learner is passive in the teacher center. Learner is viewed as an active participant in we have already discussed. Focus is on learning product and outcome in the teacher center part. That should be shift. There should be a change in the learning process and learning experience in the learner center. If we move to the third one, focus is on learning deficit of the learner. So what is the focus is on knowing the learning deficit of the learner. Here learner centered assessment should be focused on strength, ability and needs of the learner. So this shift should be occurred, then automatically the student performance can be assessed easily. And one slot or intermittent approach should be followed in teacher center, but there should be a shift, there should be a shift required in learner centered, as the evaluation or assessment should be done in continuous and comprehensive approach, as we have discussed in the last pages or last slide. So assessment of single attribute is is followed in teacher centered, but continuous comprehensive assessment should be done, and different type of attributes should be followed, tested in teacher centered. There should be a shift is required, and assessment of learning is going on in teacher centered, but there should be a shift required in assess the learner center, that is assessment for learning. So assessment of learning is in teacher center, that means what the student is learned at the end of the session or the class or topic. Assessment for learning means what the learner should be given to know the things better way. So there is this major shift is required in assessment process. So performance based assessment means to improve or develop the performance of the individual or the learner. There should be a major should is required. So what the changes are required we have discussed in the slide. So what is that? The NCRT is also recommended national focus group on examination, national position paper on examinations, and suggests so many national curriculum. These all these things I have discussed about the reforms in examination and evaluation and assessment to improve the performance of the learner, to cater the needs of the different learners, and allowing flexible assessment system, and the position paper of national focus group on examination reforms NCRT 2006 is also broadly proposed, following some solutions for examination reforms. After the examination reforms, the NCRT 2006 has proposed have a look at glance on the reforms. The first one, if you look at that one, using more varied modes of assessment, including oral testing and group work evaluation. We have discussed already. The learner should be tested or assessed or evaluated not only individually, it should be assessed and evaluated in group work also. That is the first point. Then go to do not expect everything from everybody in every subject. So the students, different learners learn differently, we discussed already. So some students may be good at English and mathematics, they may not be good in other subjects, and some others may good at social and sciences, they may not be good in other subjects. So we should not expect everything from every student in every subject. That is uh, proposed in NCERT 2006 reforms. And the third one is flexibility in time when examinations are taken. So we should not fix this time, and we should should not force the students to write in the same time. Why? Because they may feel unhealthy sometimes. So we should conduct the examination in the same topic in different times if the student is not feeling well, or if the student is not interested. So depends upon the condition, healthy condition, mental condition of the student, the examination can be conducted. That should be flexible in time uh, when we are conducting the examination to the students. That is the third reform by NCERT 2006 reforms. And enhanced reporting of the performance. So just we are giving the marks and we are saying simply like that. So that should be, the performance should be reported with enhancement of appraisal or whatever it may be, to learn in a better way. So these reforms have proposed by NCERT 2000 in 2006 in the position paper of National Focus Group on Examination Reforms. This is about the performance based. So then what are the performance based exams? You know already. So more performance based assessment provides in what way the learners will get benefited by these performance based assessments. Just look at them. So performance based assessment provides learners, the first one, get actively engaged in teaching learning process. So if we conduct this assessment, the students or the learners will be very active in teaching learning process. So we should it helps the students to learn the content in a better way compared to other assessment. So the second one, develop their critical thinking and problem solving skills. So the PBA, personal performance based assessments, helps to develop the critical thinking and problem solving skills of the students. Then the students will be encouraged to learn and excel in their performance of tasks, as they are free to originate and apply their own ideas. So there will be some creativity among the students if we conduct the performance based test, and they can do their problems and everything in their own by showing their knowledge or whatever it may be to solve the problems, and whatever and everything they will solve themselves if we conduct this performance based assessment. This helps a lot to the learners to develop their performance individually and in the groups. So this is about what we are discussing about the performance based assessment. So the performance based assessment consists of two parts. What are the two parts? The two parts are involved or consist in performance based assessments. What are the two parts? First one, a task that is open ended. There will be two parts I am telling. One is a task, there will be a task that is open ended, and a set of, the second one is a set of learning indicators for assessment. So there will be a task for open ended, they can perform their own style, and a set of learning indicators, second one, for assessment. So we will give what is learning indicators and what is set of open ended, we will discuss in the next class. So the performance based assessment consists of two parts. The one is a task that is open ended, the second one is a set of learning indicators. These two parts of assessment demonstrate product of, the first one is the product of performance of the students, and the second one is process of performance of the students. So the two parts what we discussed, a task that is open ended, and the second one a set of learning indicators. The first one demonstrate product of performance, the second one learning indicators demonstrates process of the performance of the learner. So in the next class we will discuss about the what are the open ended and what is learning indicators for assessment in detail. And in the yesterday we have discussed about the evaluation part also. So what are the proposed scheme of evaluation by the state government or NCRT or SCRT in scholastic and non-scholastic areas? We did not discuss yesterday. Let me discuss or let me explain the proposed scheme of evaluation nowadays what we are following in mathematics. So first to take this one curricular, there are some columns. The first one is domain area, next one is second column is areas, the third one is techniques of evaluation, the fourth column is tools of evaluation. If you take the first one scholastic, the domain is scholastic. So what are the areas can be in the scholastic domain? You see, the first one is curricular areas. Curricular areas, yesterday I explained that knowledge, understanding, application of knowledge, skills, that is we have discussed. So what are the techniques can be used for evaluation of these curricular areas? See, the oral test, written test, sometimes practicals. These techniques can be followed for evaluation of scholastic areas, scholastic domain. And what are the tools? That is question paper, diagnostic tests, standardized achievement tests, assignments, quizzes, and all these things. What the terms you don't know, we will learn very clearly in the next classes. Don't think about that one, about the tools what we are discussing in the last column, tools of evaluation. So there are some non-scholastic also we have discussed yesterday. So what are the non-scholastics? The non-scholastics have the following areas: physical health, habits, interests. Next one, attitude, character building, and participation in co-curricular activities. So when we are evaluating continuously comprehensively, then comprehensive means non-scholastic comes. So the physical health and all this comes under the habits, interests, attitudes. This comes under the non-scholastic. So the physical health is also given basic understanding about the health. Next, physical fitness, what are the techniques, medical checkup, observation by the teacher, then tools or rating skills, doctors own instruments. These all will be discussed in the psychology about the rating scale, all these things. So then what are the habits? Health habits, study habits, work habits, then observation just by technique. What are the tools? Anecdotal records, rating skills, checklist. Interest, literary interest, what the students are interested to read, artistic interest, scientific interest, musical interest, social interest. This by observation, anecdotal record, rating skills, and checklist. So these tools can be used for evaluation. The so non-scholastic domain areas we are discussing. The fourth one is completed. The fifth one is attitude towards studies, attitude towards teachers, attitude towards classmates, attitude towards school property. This what is the technique for evaluation? Observation. What is tool for tool of evaluation? Anecdotal record, checklist, rating scale. Sixth one is character building and qualities and values. So cleanliness, truthfulness, industriousness, equality, cooperation. Observation is a technique. Anecdotal record, checklist, rating scale is the tools. What are the tools? Participation in co-curricular areas. Co-curricular areas means what? Games, sports, gymnastics, etc. Literary and scientific activities, cultural, social, and community services, observation, anecdotal record, checklist, rating scales are the tools for the evaluation. So this is a schema, proposed scheme of evaluation by the state government, NCRT, SCRT, and other educational agencies of examinations. So with this, the performance based and educational assessment, educational evaluation topics are covered. Tomorrow onwards we will discuss another topic. I hope you have understood well about the educational assessment and educational evaluation. So to do educational evaluation and educational assessment, we need comprehensive assessment or comprehensive evaluation. Comprehensive assessment needs a lot of patience to the teachers, and a lot of it gives a lot of strain also. So the teacher should be very perfect to assess or measure the each aspect of the students in every subject. Then we have to combine the, then automatically we can get the comprehensive assessment report of every child to give some feedback to the student. So this is about today's topic. Thank you for patient listening.